Hi guys, welcome back, and today I want to talk about how to stay calm during literally everything. This is something that I've been training for years. I used to not be a very calm person as soon as I would get in like a discussion or maybe even a fight, because of the fact that I'm a very emotional person. I feel a lot, I experience a lot. And that was the reason that I would always be either sad and crying when it comes to confrontation, or when it was like a discussion and I was like completely felt that I was right, I would always defend my point of view. But basically the first thing is it's never about you. Don't take it personally, because the thing is, when you get feedback or when you are in a discussion or you don't agree with someone, it's almost never about you, but it's about the things that other people believe and their point of view and their idea of things and how it should be. So it's not necessarily specifically to you as an attack. See it more as, okay, this person looks at it like this. I might have a complete different outlook on life, or even don't even agree with you, and it's like a small thing, but it's never that personally. And there is a good book that I can recommend about that, but I will put it in the description because I can't remember it now. But yeah, basically it isn't personal. And the second thing is, this is a very good one, is you have to start wondering, okay. And it takes practice, because when you're already like in the heat of the moment, it's hard to stay calm, but that's something inside of your brain structure, and I will come to that quickly in a second. But the first thing is what I said is how to stay calm during everything is you have to start to wonder. Okay, for example, I have a friend of mine who is kind of I don't know how you say it in English, a road rager, as in the person is always mad at everyone in traffic because the one is driving too slow, or is doing something weird, or it's too busy, and it's never his fault. But the basic thing is you have to start wondering, okay, the person before me is maybe driving slow because he had an accident yesterday and he's very scared to go on the road again. The person in front of me might drive a bit unhandy because of the fact that it's his first day driving. Maybe he just got his driver license. So when you start seeing it differently and start to wonder instead like the extreme judgment immediately, then you get a positive outlook, and maybe you keep more calm in the moment. Because the basic fact is, as soon as I come in that negative state, or people are always driving so recklessly, or they shouldn't go on the road, blah blah blah, then it also becomes you think that way, so you also start to believe that other people are thinking that way about you, and I don't think that's something that you would want. But yeah, the basic facts is you have to start wonder, and this road raging is just a one thing, but a discussion with your partner is also something else. Okay, you find something very important, for example, and the other person just doesn't care about it at all. And you can become mad and you can say, okay, but you should care, and like you can start a whole discussion. But the fact is, wonder why that person doesn't care. It might be because they had a bad experience, or it's just not in their interest and your values aren't aligned. But when you start to wonder, you can actually take decisions out of, because you had a whole conversation, you know more. And when you know more, you can take decisions more with confidence, and you can stay more calm, because you won't be thinking in your mind, oh, did I make the right decision? But what if this and what if that? No, because you had that conversation, it is clear to you. So even when you had that conversation and the other person doesn't answer your questions, or when you start to wonder in a way that that you are satisfied with, so you still are a bit in a thing like, okay, but I still don't really understand that person, then that's also an answer. That's also maybe an answer that you are maybe more far ahead in the fact of like self-development, and that the other person isn't there yet, or just sees it very differently. So for an example is, I think a good one is, you are maybe mad about the fact that the dishes aren't done yet, for example. And as soon as you start to wonder and ask the person, okay, but why didn't you do that? Instead of, you didn't do it and you never do it, because then you have like a belief in yourself and you start to actually talk about yourself you start to talk to yourself about the other person, that, okay, he never does it and then he can never do something good again, because of the fact that you have this belief in yourself and you always say to yourself, but he never does it. So the one time that he does it, you are not satisfied at all. But that's not my point. So basically we have a discussion about the fact that the dishes aren't done yet. Then when I start to wonder, okay, maybe this person had a long day, maybe something is wrong. Let me just ask why it isn't done yet. And then before becoming angry or like just caught up in your own feelings, then you can actually wonder, you can ask the person, okay, I thought we made an agreement, why isn't it done yet? Or not in a, think about when you speak also how it comes across for the other person. Because if I'm saying, why isn't it done yet? Then it's like the other person might go in like defensive mode. But when you just sit quietly still and it's like, okay, why isn't it done yet? I thought we made like an agreement on things. Then the other person can check in with you, okay? I didn't do it because I basically forgot it, or because of this and because of this. And then you have like as I just told you, an understanding of the other, and you can make more calm and secure decisions because of the fact that you have the background information and you have more information of how the other person thinks. And if that person says to you, I don't know, it isn't that important and I don't care about our decision about our agreements, then that's also an answer for you, because of the fact that that person basically is saying they don't care about the agreements that you make and will do his own thing. So that's an answer for you of the fact that, okay, that person can't hold up to his end of the deal. Then you have your background information and you can decide what to do with that, but you can still keep on calm and be calm because of the fact that you have the information, and you don't have to start wondering, but what if? And what would he say? And why would he do that to me? Like, you have that information. So keeping calm is always like, don't take it too personally. Always start to wonder. And starting to wonder is also a fact of, you are a part of me that I don't know yet. And this is something that I read from a book from Valerie Kaur. And she basically explains in her book, and it is such a wonderful book. It's a lot about racism and the fact that we are grown up in a culture where we have some kind of hate towards other cultures. But the fact is, those people are still people, and we are just like, those are a part of us that we don't know yet. And if you look at it like that, in that way, then it's more like, okay, it might be that I don't agree with them, or it might be that I don't agree with their culture, for example, but they are still a part of me that I don't know yet. Those animals are still a part of you that you don't know yet. This whole nature, this whole world is still a part of you that you don't know yet. So before you judge and think and make your own interpretation of things, ask and wonder. I think that's very good to know. And the third thing is, you can't fight every battle yourself. Like, just your mental capacity, it's just not worth it to fight every battle. Just accept that sometimes you don't have the willpower, the energy to fight a battle. And you don't want to fight every battle because it takes up a lot of energy. So basically what I'm trying to say with that is, of course, you might have some indifferences about some things, but that's also fine because of the fact that we will never truly understand each other. And I've talked about that in a previous video of mine, where it's like, we all have different interpretations, we all have different beliefs. We will never completely understand each other, because completely understanding each other is often lost in our translation between each other. So that basically means what I think might not think another, because they have grown up a different way, and it's basically the same thing. It all comes down to wondering, because we will never, ever, ever completely understand each other. As much as we would like to believe, as in friends that I had the best conversation with and I feel completely understood. But it might just be that I got a lot of relief out of the conversation, but the other person didn't really understand it. It's like, we can think we are aligned, but maybe we aren't aligned. Like, when do you know something like really for sure? That's just, it's always a feeling. So yeah, start to wonder, don't take it too personally, pick your battles. And that is the thing, like, it is easier said than done, and that's with the most stuff. But when I'm saying it's easier said than done, it's restructuring your brain. And that's a hard thing to do, because we have grown up and we have paths in our brain that are the easiest to go to. So for example, like, I think it's best to explain it with like driving. When you go to your work, you always, or at least probably you always have the same route. You always have the same route. You take the highway, you know how to get the fastest there and how it's the most efficient for you. That's the same with your brain. So as soon as something starts and you start to feel like, okay, I'm getting like thrown off, I don't like this, where this conversation is going. And instead of keeping calm, that's not your normal response. So you might get frustrated, react, but that's just your brain on the highway going to their work, if you know what I mean. But as soon as you try to practice, okay, I'm gonna take other routes, I'm going to take like more trying, but you have to do it when you are not in the rush, because when you have to get to work, you are not going to take another route. You are not going to take the touristic route, because you have to be there fast, otherwise you're going to be late. So what I'm trying to say is, when you're already in the heat of the moment, it's probably very hard to practice all this. But when it's with the smaller things, like when you aren't that heated up, or right now maybe you have watched this video and you think, oh, I'm still bothered by this thing. Maybe I can try and I can practice with a loved one that will understand on how to better myself and how to actually become more calm. Because as soon as I open up to these possibilities, you will see that there is so much more possible, and it's also like a so much more nice way of living. It's more about like a more structured and open-minded way of thinking, and as soon as you reach that, you can become more calm at everything. So I think that's a very important thing to mention. And I hope that you get some insights out of this video, and that you can stay calm in your next conflict discussion, just the feedback that you might get. Thank you for watching.